Hi everyone, this is Yeshua Said My Name. I hope that you're doing well this evening. I wanted to sit outside with you tonight. It's getting dark, as you can see behind me. I have a light here in front of me, and of course the light that you see here behind me, my friend Kristine gave me for my birthday right after I had my foot surgery this past year. So I wanted to bring that out with me and help illuminate things a little bit. But I wanted to show you a couple of pictures this evening that my friend Kristine sent to me from the mountains of Pennsylvania. Okay, she's been messaging me for the past, I'd say, maybe 2 days now about some anomalous things that are happening in her yard. She said it's been a while, but she mentioned to me between yesterday and today that she's been noticing different rock formations, stick formations, which I'm going to show you the rock formations and the stick formations that she's caught within the last 2 days. Now, I showed you the other day some pictures that she had taken over the winter time about 2 years ago of a tree, a literal tree. Not just a staff, but a tree that was driven into her backyard in the middle of winter with snow on the ground, okay? And it was freezing temperatures. Now, she lives in the mountains of Pennsylvania. So when her husband found this tree driven into the ground, I mean, the tree must have been a good 8 inches around, maybe more. I'm guesstimating 8 to 10 feet tall. I mean, this tree was literally driven into her ground. And the ground around where the tree was not disturbed. So, you know, she and her husband, that's what began to clue them in to the Sasquatch Nephilim thing being a reality, okay? Now, I will admit to you that when I first heard this story, until I saw the evidence myself from my friend Kristine in the mountains of Pennsylvania and her husband, their testimonies, the things that have happened in their yard, the tree that was driven into their ground, until I saw those things myself, I will admit to you, I was a scoffer, okay? I literally would laugh. I would think people were crazy for believing in such things. Now I know from what's happened to myself in my own yard, right behind me, okay, which is where that staff was driven in, and the orb that flew by that I showed you earlier on the channel in a previous video flew by from this direction, went from this direction this way. Okay, so it was flying from this direction past me as I was taking a sunset picture in the west. But I was a scoffer. I thought people were crazy for believing such things until I saw the evidence myself, and I started experiencing it myself. The last few times I've gone to Piney Run Park, thankfully to subscribers who have noticed things that I have not noticed, you guys have pointed things out to me that I haven't seen. Okay, you guys have good eyes. I'll give you that, because as I'm using my cell phone selfie stick and I'm walking throughout the woods and the forest, I'm not seeing these things. So the fact that you're noticing them is amazing to me, and I really want to thank you all for the good eye that you have. I've been able to make a couple of videos over the last couple of days of what you guys have pointed out to me, okay? Also, thank you, a subscriber named Audrey. She sent in her video footage for us of an orb that she captured during the evening when she was walking her dog. She was with her husband, was walking her dog. If you haven't seen that, check out Audrey's video from, I think I posted it yesterday. But she captured an orb in the sky, and I posted that. If you're a new subscriber and you would like to see some of the pictorial evidence that I have of things that have happened to me in my yard from these modern Nephilim and these Sasquatch, please backtrack a few videos. And I show you pictures of things that I have taken from my yard. Okay, things that, especially when the orb flew by, there's no way I could have perfectly timed that. I was standing on this particular area of my house, and I was looking this way, taking a picture of the sunset. And as I did, an orb flew by. Now, there's no way I could time that. And when the orb flew by and my phone captured it, and I blew the picture up, it looked to me like it had eyes. Okay, it had eyes. Now, when Kristine, my friend from Pennsylvania, sent me pictures of the orbs that were flying around her property, they were very bright, and to me they looked like they had eyes on them as well. Okay, but I want to show you some pictures that she sent me that she's taken over the last couple of days. There's some stick structures, some rock formations that she's taken that she says are brand new and have just happened recently. Okay, so I wanted to show you what she sent me today, and I'm also going to try and get out later this week. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or maybe the day after. I'd like to get out to get back to Piney Run Park with you guys and read some more from Scott Carpenter's books and take another walk with you, okay? And see if you guys can pick out anything anomalous. But this channel is all about exposing the enemy, exposing his tactics, and exposing those who serve him, okay? So when the Lord said in Luke 21 and Matthew 24 that it will be as it was in the days of Noah, he was not speaking simply allegorically or metaphorically. He was speaking literally, that men's hearts will fail them for fear for what is coming on the earth. What will be unleashed on the earth, and I happen to agree with Brother L.A. Marzulli, that some of these Sasquatch Nephilim beings will be unleashed on the earth during the last days. Can you imagine? I mean, when people see these things, when, if they're hunting, fishing, hiking, or if they work for the logging industry, or they're just vacationing, and they happen to catch sight of some of these things, their lives are forever changed. They're never the same. It's like their whole paradigm has shifted, okay? My friend Kristine and I have said to one another, she has seen one personally, and, hopefully I'll be able to interview her again soon, and she will tell you what it looked like. She was in her car. It was very late at night, probably in the middle of the night, and she was on the back roads of the mountains of Pennsylvania driving home. I think it was from work one night, and she was at a stop sign. And while she was at this stop sign, she said a Sasquatch was crossing the road. And she said it turned around and it looked right at her. And she said the look in its eyes when it looked at her was like a look of familiarity. And she said, Angie, I'm telling you, the way this thing turned around and looked at me, she said it looked at me as if it knew me. It gave me, she said it was a very stern, piercing look as if it knew me. And she said there was a car in front of her, and the man in front of her was losing his mind. Because apparently, according to my friend Kristine, this gentleman that was in front of her in his car saw this Sasquatch crossing the road and looking over at both of them, and was losing his mind. She said she could see his hands flailing around in the front seat, and he was looking at her in the side view mirror like, what's going on? So she said that was her first view in the Pennsylvania mountains late at night, okay, of a Sasquatch crossing the road and literally looking around at her. I think it was, she could see it in the headlights, but she said it looked around at her and she could see the eyes and it looked right at her. And she said the look in its eyes was just very unnerving. Almost as if she said it looked at her as if it knew her. Well, that doesn't shock me, because being children of God, these Nephilim beings know who belongs to the Lord. Okay? I truly believe that's why she's having activity in her yard. I believe that's what happened to me. The enemy knows that you are a child of God. And if he can push back at you, if he can try and intimidate you, if he can try and scare you off from exposing those beings that serve him, exposing the Nephilim, exposing the powers and principalities of the air that serve Satan, okay? If he can push back, okay, because this is a spiritual battle, if he can push back and frighten you into silence, that's what he wants to do. Don't be silent. Whatever you experience, you rebuke it in the name of Christ, you expose it in the name of Christ, and you stand your ground and dig your heels in, okay? But what I want to do is show you some pictures of what my friend Kristine has sent me that has taken place in the mountains of Pennsylvania over the last couple of days. Now, I wanted to get a shot behind me of the moonrise. However, I have some very tall Leland cypresses behind me, and they are blocking the moon right now. The moon is full and it is above the horizon. However, due to the Leland cypresses I have behind me, which you can't see because it's dark, the moon is not visible right now. So what I'm going to try and do after I finish this video here is I'm going to go and try and get a video for you of the moonrise on my cell phone. actually and get a moonrise for you on my cell phone and upload it to YouTube for you so you can see it, or I'll put it in the community/post section of this channel so you can see the full moon and hopefully the red tint of the moon. Okay, I was trying to hope to set up so you could see it behind me, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen this evening. We'll see. Maybe, maybe the moon will make its appearance above these tree lines about like up to here behind my camera. You can't see it because it's dark, so who knows, maybe we'll get a view of it. But anyway, let me see if I can bring up my friend's pictures here. My friend is taking, now this is her property, okay, in the mountains of Pennsylvania, and she's taking pictures for me and sent them to me today of anomalies that, or what she feels are anomalies that she has found in her yard, of stick structures and rock formations that she wanted to share with the channel. So until I can get a chance to get back out to Pennsylvania and interview her in person, or we can arrange something online together, like maybe a split screen interview or something like that, I wanted to show you what she sent me today. Okay, so this is just one of the pictures she sent me. She said these two trees are not in the ground, they're leaning. Let me see if I can explain this to you. Can you see that? She said these two trees right here that you see, they're not planted in the ground by root systems. She said they were leaning against this bigger tree here. These two trees here were just placed there. And she said when she looked in her yard the night before, they weren't there. When she woke up this morning, they were leaning against this tree in her property. So it's this tree and these two trees here. So if you can see that, it's this tree and this tree. We're leaning against this tree in her yard. And she said these trees here do not have a root system with them, which means they were transported from somewhere else into her yard, okay, and leaning against this tree, because she said they weren't there yesterday. And when she messaged me this morning, she said, Angie, you won't believe it. I've got, of course, I'm like, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Because I've seen anomalous things in my own property here in rural Maryland, in Sykesville, Maryland, and Carroll County, which are known for, Nephilim Sasquatch sightings. But she said these two trees were leaning against this one tree here that were not leaning against it yesterday. So I wanted to show you that. So this is a picture she sent me today. I wanted to show you. Let me find another one. Let me see here. And again, this jar here that she gave me, this jar that's lit up over here, she gave that to me for my birthday. She knows I like jars like this that I can put lights in, and I like to put them around the house. And right after I had my foot surgery, she showed up at my house one day and had that jar for me, filled with lights in it, which is really nice. So I wanted to honor her, since this video is about her and the pictures she sent me, and say thank you, Kristine, for this jar. I use it every day. Thank you. Let me show you some extra pictures that she sent me. The first one I showed you with the two trees leaning against now the bigger tree it is permanently in the ground with a root ball system, okay? The other two that were leaning against it, she said were pulled from somewhere else and leaned against this tree here. Okay, that these smaller, thinner, skinnier trees were not there yesterday. That they were put there. This is something that looks like an arch to me. I don't know if you can see that very well. Maybe you can, hopefully. Let me try and pull that closer for you. She said that this here, it's like an arch system. I hope you can see it. She said these branches were placed in her yard and look like an arch to her. Hopefully you can see them. Oh, there it is. It's coming in a little better now. But she said none of these branch and tree structures were there as of yesterday. So when I woke up this morning and I'm drinking my coffee, she's sending me these pictures saying, look what I found today. And she hasn't had activity in her yard, she says, for a few weeks. So she always notices when something anomalous takes place. If it's been a few weeks, she'll tell me, I'll ask her, has anything happened? Are you okay? And she'll say, I haven't seen anything unusual in the last couple of weeks. So when she sent me these pictures this morning, she said, I had to share this with you. This is something different that wasn't here yesterday. So I wanted to show you that. So let me show you that again. This is she said she called it an arch. And if these branches were placed there, she said they were not in that position on her property in the mountains yesterday, but they were this morning. Okay, so this is from Kristine, and again, I am going to try and get out. I know I keep telling you guys, I am going to try and get out and see her and get an interview with her, okay? I'm going to try and blow this up a little larger. This is another image of the arches that she found on her property. This is another image of that. Hopefully that's coming through, and you can see that. And she said the way they were woven together like this and positioned could not happen by natural tree fall. That's what she was telling me. And she said that they were not there like that yesterday or any other time in her yard, that she woke up and found them like this. And she said they almost seemed woven together. And she said you're not getting that impression by the pictures. According to her messages to me, the pictures aren't doing justice to what she saw. She said they almost look woven into place or put in this position on purpose, because she said they were not like this at all, ever. She found them for the first time like this today. Okay, let me see if I can find some other pictures for you that she sent me today. Now, these next pictures I'm going to show you are pictures that she found of, it also reminds me of what happened in my yard. She found sticks driven into her ground. Of course, I'm sure you guys remember the staff I told you that was driven into my ground. 58.5 inches long. It was 3 inches thick and driven almost 6 inches into my ground. And of course, 2 days later, that orb flew by. Okay, so I asked neighbors if they could do it, and they couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I've asked men if they could do it, and they couldn't do it. I mean, the very stick that was driven into my ground, they couldn't do it. So what I'm about to show you are sticks that she has found driven into her ground. Also, I don't know if I told you all this or not, but about a week ago, I found a dead bird. Okay, and this is another thing Sasquatch and Nephilim are known to do, modern Nephilim are known to do, is leave you what's called gifts, okay? So I went out my back door, which is like off to my left here, where I usually leave if I want to head out for the day or get into my car and go somewhere. My door is like literally 20 yards from me here. There was a dead bird sitting right outside my door. And that's the first time I've ever seen that. And this was about 2 weeks ago. All right. I think I took a picture of it. I'll have to see if I can find it on my phone for you guys. I took a picture of this dead bird. I'll put that up in another video. I'd have to search for it right now, which will take some time. But apparently, Kristine found a dead chicken on her front porch and a dead bird on her front porch recently. She said within the last 2 days. So she said there's been some very anomalous things taking place, rock formations, these tree structures that weren't there before until today, and now some of these sticks that were sticking out of the ground. Now, I don't know if you can make this out too well, but this stick was driven into her ground. Kind of reminds you it reminds me of what happened to me when I found that stick and that staff driven into my ground. So this is a stick driven into her ground. Let me find the other one here. This is probably a clearer picture. This is driven into her ground as well, if you can see that. Driven straight into the ground. And just like the staff that was driven into my ground, the ground around it is not disturbed. If you notice that, the ground around it isn't disturbed. It's not like somebody, used a shovel and disturbed the grass or disturbed the ground. It's like these things are driven straight into the ground. I don't know if you can see that or not too well, but these things are driven straight into the ground without the ground being disturbed. As a matter of fact, when I found the staff driven into my ground, it's not like someone used a shovel and dug 6 inches into my ground and then put the staff in and then put the dirt back around it. It was just driven into the ground. So it's, and none of my neighbors could do it. So I'm just being honest about that. All right, let me find her next picture. So that was driven into her ground. And here's another picture that she found. Now this is kind of hard to see. I'll see if I can blow this up for you. There are 3 different sticks that look to be about 6 to 8 inches long, driven into her ground in a row. So I hope this comes through what I'm about to show you. She's got one stick across what looks like a rock, So one stick is across a rock, and then there's 3 sticks in a row that were driven into the ground. Let me see if I hope you can see this. Sometimes it comes into focus if I hold it there for long enough. But there's a rock here, and there's a stick across it, and there's 3 sticks driven into the ground. I don't know if you can see them or not. Maybe not. I'm sorry if this is too if this isn't coming through very well. But there's like 1, 2, 3. There's like a set of 3 sticks driven into the ground. What I can do is post this in the community/post section of the channel so you can see it a little bit. Oh, there it is. It's coming in better now. Can you see that? See how that one stick is right across that rock? It's laid across the rock, and then you've got 3 sticks driven into the ground that might be about 6 to 8 inches tall, just driven into the ground. So you've got this stick here driven across the rock, and the other 3 sticks are just driven into the ground. And, I've heard that means something when sticks are placed in a row like that. So, you've got one down here, I think down here, there's another one here, and another one over here, and a stick across a rock. Okay, so I'll hold that up so you can see it. But again, does the ground look disturbed to you? It doesn't look disturbed to me. So until I can get out to actually interview Kristine again, I wanted to show you the pictures that she sent me, okay? She also said that until I can get out to do an actual interview with her again, that she'd be willing to do a question and answer session for you guys. So, if you would like me to do a live chat with Kristine, I can do that. And she'd be willing to do, she told me today, a question and answer session for you guys. Whatever questions you might have for her about Sasquatch, about what she's experienced on her property, anomalies, orbs, trees driven into the ground, whatever questions you have, okay, she'd be willing to answer, she told me. Now, when I first started researching this topic, okay, I have a testimony to share with you. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. I went to the mountains of Tennessee with my friend Kristine and her husband, okay? And while we were staying at a hotel together, her husband said something to me about Sasquatch, and I laughed. I literally laughed so hard. He looked at me. Now, my friend's husband he likes to joke. So I'm thinking he's joking. Okay, so he gave me the most serious look. He looked at me with the most serious look, and I'm telling you, my friend's husband he's kind of a jokester. He's always like happy-go-lucky, and so I'm thinking he's fooling around with me. Oh, Sasquatch this, Bigfoot that, Nephilim this. So I'm laughing. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Her husband's name is Tony, and I said, yeah, right, Tony. Okay, whatever. And we're all standing out all 3 of us were at a fire pit together, and I'm laughing, scoffing. Okay. He looked at me, deadpan, straight-faced, looked at me, Angie, I'm being serious. I'm not joking with you. This is really happening to us on our property. That's when I looked at him and I went, oh, okay, I apologize. I had no idea. And that's when God began to use my friend Kristine and her husband Tony to open up my understanding of the reality to these beings. Okay? And what's interesting is because I used to be a scoffer, I used to laugh at it, oh, you're nuts, you're crazy, you're kind of fruitcake-ish, whatever. I know better now, okay? It wasn't until after I did my very first interview with Kristine that she and her husband Tony noticed the white orbs flying around on their security camera outside their house. Isn't that interesting? As a matter of fact, it was the very following morning I was having breakfast with them, because I stayed the night that night after I interviewed Kristine about the tree driven into her ground and all of her Sasquatch experiences on her property. And what I find interesting is her husband Tony was sitting at the table with us drinking his coffee, and he said, what is this on the security camera? And I said, what do you mean? What is it? And I took a look at it, and there was these balls of light flitting around, okay, on their security cam. So their security cam captured not only the motion, but also the stills, okay? So we're looking at this together, all three of us, the very next morning after I did my first interview with Kristine about Sasquatch on her property in the mountains of Pennsylvania. That's the very first time those white orbs appeared on her motion sensor cam outside her house. Kind of interesting, I think. How would they know that? Well, we live in a supernatural realm, and there are supernatural beings, okay? And we don't know what they know about what we're exposing and what we're doing. I truly believe the enemy knows that I'm exposing them because of what happened to me in my yard. I showed you pictures a couple of days ago of red orbs that I've captured on my phone, white orbs, sticks driven into my ground. I've taken you with me on walks through Piney Run Park, and I think I'm being observed. As a matter of fact, one of the clearest pictures was taken, I think, last week on that set of wooden stairs that I almost went up. I think I'm going to go there next time. When I go to the park again, I'm going to go to this set of wooden stairs that I didn't go up last time I took you guys with me. There was a definite something half-cloaked being there watching me from those wooden stairs. Even though I couldn't see it with the naked eye, my phone picked it up, and so did subscribers. Okay, so maybe I'll take that path next time. I might either go tomorrow or the following day, depending on the weather. But, I used to be a scoffer, guys. And, the Holy Spirit awakened me to the fact that these beings exist, and that these could, like Brother L.A. Marzulli said, be part of the Etherion, or the beasts of the earth that are unleashed, like Matthew 24 and Luke 21 states, where Christ, says that men's hearts will fail them for fear for what is coming on the earth. We're not used to seeing these things. People's paradigms are changed when they go out hunting, fishing, hiking. People that do logging work. There are whole logging sites that are abandoned because these men no longer want to go back to work because of what they've seen or heard or experienced. Okay? And there are too many people that have had experiences for this to just merely be a joke or a coincidence. And like I said, I used to be a scoffer. I honestly used to laugh at the whole idea of the existence of these beings. But I just wanted to show you these pictures from Kristine today. I've spoken with her today about possibly doing another interview. We just have to arrange a good time with one another. Also, she said she'd be willing to do a question and answer session with you. So if we do an upcoming live premiere, live chat, okay, in the near future, okay, I will let her know about it, and we'll cover the Sasquatch topic, okay, which I call modern Nephilim, because I believe they are, like Scott Carpenter, I believe they are descendants of Nephilim, or they are Nephilim. And I'll make sure it's a live premiere, and I'll make sure my friend Kristine knows about it, and she will get on the live chat with us and do a question and answer session with us, okay? She told me she would do that. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Sorry, I'm not getting this full moon here. It is behind, I have trees behind me. Of course, you can't see that, but I have some very tall trees behind me. The moon is above the horizon, but I'm going to try and capture it on my phone, actually. I'm going to try and capture it on my phone for you and upload it, and see if I can get a good shot that way and post it in the community section for you. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for being a part of this channel. And please feel free to write my P.O. box of your testimonies. Continue to email me your testimonies. Send me pictures, videos, because as you can see, I will post them, and I will give you the credit for sending me those pictures, okay? And your testimonies, all right? All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. It's 8:30. It's not too late, but I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for joining me this evening, and have a good evening, and keep your eyes on Christ no matter what you see and what you experience. Know who you are in Him. Dig your heels in and say, I'm an heir together with Christ. I'm seated with Him in heavenly realms, and I'm an heir together with Him in all things, and He has given me all power over the enemy in His name. At the name of Jesus, every knee will bow and every tongue confess that He is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Amen? All right, guys. Good night. Have a good evening.